Welcome back to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, I'd like to send you a warm welcome. Here I talk about issues that happen within the Black community, hopefully for some resolution or at least some food for thought to go about your daily way. So, without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic, which is a bit of a controversial, it's a touchy topic, but I really feel like it's a topic that, is long overdue to come up within our communities and to start addressing these issues so that we can heal, especially from a generational aspect. And this topic is the father who rapes his daughter hates his own mother, okay? I want to make a small disclaimer. This does not apply to every scenario or situation where it has to do with molestation or rape within the family or with little children. It can be due to mental illness. Sometimes people grow up in perfectly loving and wonderful homes and still display heinous acts upon others. But for this episode's purposes, I'd like to talk about especially the black man and the environment that he may have grown up in, and how it just is a domino effect, with the black man, the black woman, the black son, and then the black women, and it just keeps going on. So I want to start off by saying that a lot of black men have seen their mothers go through a series of dating guys, okay? Especially in the last 20 to 30 years, there's a lot of single mothers, more so than it was 50 to 60 years ago. And, when a woman's single, some women may have different boyfriends. One boyfriend didn't work out, then there's another boyfriend, okay? And some of the components or experiences that some young black men may have gone through with their mom dating other men, and just the feelings that this particular black woman may have had toward her son, because it all depends on the way that the father and the mother broke up in the home. His mother may have physically abused him, okay? So this is lashing out at the young black son for looking like his father. Just, different things. Just mental illness on the behalf of the mother. Just being upset in general at the situation and the son. His mother, due to loneliness, which led to mental illness, chooses to sexually abuse her son, because we talk a lot about, when females are abused by their father or whatnot, but we don't really, it's more closed in about some of the sons that are sexually abused by their mother. Their mother may have grown mentally ill, being upset that, she may not have gotten out to the men that she wanted to be with. Maybe she was less attractive, grown attractive, or whatever sick reason. There's no justification to it, but the son ends up being sexually abused by his own mother, okay? Another thing that can happen is the boyfriend in the home, or the husband, the new husband, so the stepfather figure, may physically or sexually abuse the son, okay, leading to hatred of his mother for not protecting him from the heinous acts, okay? So, there's a lot of that going on, like the boyfriend moves in, and so the little boy, the son, the young black male child, is physically abused, sexually abused by the new boyfriend, and the mother's just sitting back. She may not know about it, may be careless to know about it, or may be joining in on the abuse because of the hatred of the father. Like I said, a lot of mental illness going on, and what happens is, the young black male child grows up, okay, and in our society and in our black communities, it is often taboo to say that you dislike your own mother. So it's really, really unheard of. So we have a lot of, I believe, a lot of young black males going around saying they love their mother so much, but they have some deep rooted issues, okay, because a lot of black men are quick to point out that a black woman may have daddy issues, but it is very less spoken about the black men that have mommy issues. Okay? Many black men state that they love their mother and therefore love women. Okay? When this couldn't be furthest from the truth. Okay, so we got a lot of black guys, a lot of black brothers saying, "Hey, I love my mother. I grew up in a house full of women. Of course, I know how to respect women. And sometimes this, like I said, might not be the truth. Many men mistake finding a woman sexually attractive for actually respecting a woman's body, okay? So we have a lot of men who get turned on, sexually aroused by looking at a woman, but past that, he could care less about who a woman is, her essence, her emotions, what differentiates men from women, how to care, how to maintain, or any of that in regards to a woman, what she likes, what she doesn't like, any of that. So he really doesn't care about any of that, but so he's mistaking finding her attractive, and that's just supposed to be, supposed to be the whole thing of him respecting a woman, okay? And I wanted to talk about some of the phrases that are telltale signs that a man may have some hatred, to women, and which leads to the rape and abuse. Okay, I would like to talk about a couple of them. So we have some troubled brothers, a lot of them, especially in this century, this decade. I'm going to put it in cleaner text because I don't want to say exactly, but you can pretty much fill in what I'm going to say. You can change the words up interchangeably and kind of get what I'm saying. There's guys that have said a broad's vagina isn't worth anything. So we're going to, so a broad, they call it the other B word. The vagina word is replaced with the P word. So you've heard a lot of men say that, okay? And from a guy's standpoint, and these are abusive terms. They're thinking like, okay, if there's a woman that's saying, hey, I want this or this or that, monetary gain, that no, your sex is not worth me giving up my money for, which is totally understandable when you're putting it in that context. Like, I'm not going to have sex with a woman and just give up money. Okay, but a lot of these men, what they're doing is, they're generalizing a woman by her vagina, just period. Okay, so they're basically saying women aren't worth anything because all a woman is worth is her vagina, without them really consciously knowing it. Okay, this symbolizes that this particular man can't see a woman past her genitalia. Okay, so there's a lot of men, they don't see a woman for who she is or what she is, but just that's it, her genitalia. The only value a female has is her vagina. Okay, so a lot of guys, they'll dispute and get upset about this, but their actions prove that this is, the mentality in a lot of our young black brothers. They only value a female, through her genitalia, and that's the only value she has is her vagina. Men who have this mindset cannot protect a black woman nor his daughter. Okay, and I wanted to talk about that. I'm going to repeat that. Men who have this mindset cannot protect a black woman nor his daughter, because you'll get a lot of black men, they'll be calling women bitchs, they'll be using women, telling women what they want to hear, sexually abusing women, and they'll say, oh no, not my daughter. Not, a man's not going to treat my daughter that way. Well, number one, if you're spending most of your time playing and abusing black women, you're away, you're occupied abusing black women. So while you're occupied abusing black women, there's going to be another man in that place where you should have been protecting your daughter. They're going to be abusing your daughters. Not only that, but if you see women from a standpoint of just abusing them and they're just sex, how are you going to show an example for your daughter? A lot of men will dispute this, but they need to educate themselves. How can you disrespect other women and show and flip the script real quick and show your daughter that this is respect? This is the respect a man's supposed to give you. You can't just say it out your mouth. You have to be, showing this through actions. And the best way to show it is by being with the mother, being married to the mother, your daughter seeing how a man's supposed to treat the mother in the house. Therefore, the daughter grows up and she's able to see her father treating other women with respect in the home. Another thing is when black men have this mindset, to abuse black women sexually, they encourage other young black men that will precede them to also abuse other women. Okay, so that's what's happening. because he feels as if his daughter's body is of no value to protect. Like I said, you can't spend your life going around dogging and mistreating and using other black women for sex and then turn around and say, I want to protect my daughter. I'm going to protect my daughter. If you're looking at women as their vagina isn't worth anything, then how are you going to see any value in protecting your own daughter and protecting her honor? So it's not just protecting her genitalia. And that's what a lot of black men need to be educated on. It's protecting her honor for remaining as virtuous as possible until she can be married. But if you're going around saying all women ain't nothing and their vaginas ain't nothing, and I ain't, or whatever jib jab that you speak of, then it's going to definitely spread upon how you view the protection or lack of there for your daughter. The vagina itself has no value, but the female itself. So I want to say that the vagina itself has no value, but the female itself that holds that the female, it's the female itself that holds the value. Okay, so let me repeat that again. I kind of got jumbled up a little bit. The vagina itself has no value. Okay, but it's the female herself that holds the value. Okay. Number two, reducing a woman down to just sex gives some men the mentality of not regarding who he has sex with, just as long as his needs are fulfilled, which is a recipe for molestation and rape, especially of little girls. When you reduce a woman down, if you're, the type of man that has the mentality that he doesn't care how he gets his sex, he doesn't care who he gets his sex from, he doesn't care the woman's name, he doesn't care. Once you get into that type of mindset, a lot of men, it doesn't matter what age the girl is, it doesn't matter who she is, it doesn't matter if he's related to the girl, if he's having a sexual need, he's going to go ahead and get it fulfilled. And that goes into not having self-control either. Okay, so I want to go into number three, having the mindset that certain black women are trying to be better than you. Okay, so we already have a problem in our community, with our black men having trouble to succeed, trying to have lack of a criminal record, and to develop better skills and education for themselves. And what's happened is this kind of man may not have finished school himself, so not even high school, okay? But he loves to exaggerate his accomplishments, okay? Just so sometimes they can feel better about themselves. They may seek to harm a woman's self-esteem to put her in her place because, some guys behind the scenes, especially abusive men, they feel that way. Like if a woman holds her head too high, so we have one aspect, a spectrum of black men saying that the black woman's self-esteem is too low, but then we have another spectrum, the duplistic mentality, stereotype of people saying that, black women, their self-esteem can be too high at times. It's like, where's the happy medium at? And a lot of these guys, they will try to hurt some black women, some men, not all black men, but some black men that I'm talking about, that I'm referring to, will try to hurt a black woman or her children or a little black girl so that she will not grow up with self-esteem. And I think that comes from him having lack of self-esteem growing up, like I said, in an abusive home. Maybe his mother overpowering him, beating on him when he couldn't defend himself. Maybe a boyfriend beating on him, when he couldn't defend himself, he was too young. So now he feels like he has to overpower subconsciously, I believe, females, and females who can't defend themselves, okay? He may feel threatened and upset at his own life, okay? So a lot of these guys are underachievers. Like I said, they may have a criminal record. Not to say that just because they have a criminal record that they're going to engage in these type of acts, but a lot of times there's a pattern, okay? They have a criminal record, they can't get a job, they can't move forward, they can't, do a lot of things, and they end up with a woman that may, have a job, even if it's a basic job. She may have a job and she may have some education, and they feel entitled to the most eligible women. These type of guys, they usually love a woman that does have education or does have a job, has her own place. He might not have any of that. So that can cause resentment. And a lot of these guys that choose to abuse young girls and women. Uh, Number four, men who fail to respect the developmental stages in female children. Okay, so these are men, like I said, that they don't care about a female's essence and emotional state. And so they're the type of men that look at women as if it's just a piece of vagina. So it doesn't matter if it's underdeveloped. It doesn't matter. So he's not looking at her eyes. He's not looking at her smile. He's not looking at this being an innocent, untouched child. He's looking at this as a piece of genitalia, and he's looking at a breast. He's not looking at the fact that this is not a grown woman. Okay, he's looking at it is that this is just a breast. This is just a buttocks. This is just a vagina. And that these type of men, we hear it in our rap songs, and we hear it from a lot of men. I hate to say that, but we do hear it from a lot of, especially in the urban communities. And these type of men usually fail to acknowledge a young girl's developmental, which is puberty, and they end up, just taking full advantage because they have no respect or regard for the developmental stages. Number five, men who overindulge in pornography. Okay, so I wanted to say that the more sexual images you look at, okay, so whether this is pictures or videos, so the more sexual images you look at makes it harder for the human mind not to be turned on at images that it shouldn't be aroused to. Okay, and what I mean by that is the more that you look at naked bodies and the more that you look and you keep looking at that, it makes it harder not to be turned on when you see any type of bodies. So, if you keep looking at people having sex on the video over and over again, time and time, day in, day in, day out, and it just becomes so casual once you see such an intimate act as intercourse, and you're seeing these body parts, and when you're looking at like little children around the house, or you're looking at little girls, going swimming or something like that, you're so used to just looking at breast, butt, and this, you can't even, your human brain, can't even turn off what's right or wrong now, and you're just aroused at any time you see it because you're so used to massaging or this impulse, this sexual gratification, and that is a recipe for molestation and raping with younger children if you can't turn off what you should and shouldn't be looking at. Okay, and number six is men who lack self-control. Okay, they lack discipline. So if you have not mastered your body, okay, your genitalia should not be leading your brain. Okay, your brain, okay, should be leading the other parts of your body. All right. Men who may have felt belittled or overpowered by their mothers may grow up feeling the need to overpower women and children. Okay, so I've already talked about that a little bit earlier. Guys that have been, beat or even raped by their own mother, or their mother let things happen to them, they may want to, feel like they have a power and assert, their power over women, and especially small children. Okay, now I want to talk about the effects on young black girls. Okay, so when this happens, and especially when it happens from a father or a brother or an uncle, some important, it really doesn't matter who it happens from, it's still detrimental to the young black girl's self-esteem. But definitely the father, because a lot of black men are saying, why are all these black women having all these problems? There's a myriad of reasons why, but this right here, there is unspoken about. It's definitely shut and swept under the rug. But I want to not digress from the point. So the effects on young black girls, okay, it makes them resistant to male authority. Okay, so when you think about a young girl, and some guy, forcing them to do things that they don't want to do, when they grow up, it makes them resistant and defiant to male authority. Okay, it increases the risk of lesbianism. Okay, so no pun intended. This is not against the gay community, but this is a reality. Whether people want to realize it or not, everyone's not born gay. Some people, especially with women, they just don't want to be involved with a man because it reminds them too much of being over empowered. So, the father felt over empowered, so then he abuses the daughter. Now the daughter doesn't want to feel over empowered. So look at the cycle right there with within our community. Number three, it increases the risk to repeat these offenses to other children. Okay, some people are strong enough, so this is definitely no excuse. Of course not. It takes the will of God and the grace of God, to change your mind and heart to realize what is right and what is wrong. But these do increase the risk because there are women predators out there as well. Number four, it decreases a young girl's self-esteem. Okay, and we see that a lot. We see, young girls that are promiscuous, too young of an age. A lot of young girls feeling like they need to have sex with a man for a man to pay attention to them. A lot of young women are, unclothed, and they are in sexual positions when there's no type of sexual atmosphere going on, and they're propped up sex, really sexed out because they feel like that's the only way that they're going to get love or attention. A lot of times when this happens to them, as a young girl, it increases the risk of prostitution because a lot of women, when they're raped, especially at a young girl's age, they feel like they've had to turn off their feelings. So they had to dissociate the feelings of loving their father, beside the heinous acts of rape. So they're still trying to love their father on an everyday basis, and then they have to dissociate another part of themselves to be able to be preyed upon sexually. So you got one part. So that's how a lot of prostitution is started, because a lot of young black women are able to turn off their feelings. They're able to turn off their feelings for a man to get this money because they have this mindset all a man wants is sex anyway. And what the black man needs to understand is once a father crosses those boundaries, especially an important male figure, it does give the young black woman a sense that that's all a man wants. Because if this is your father, just for an example, and he's committing those type of acts on you, it's like, well, that means all men want sex. Because even if my father wants sex from me, that means all men want sex. That's all they're about. So I need to get what I need to get out of them before they get and suck it out of me. So that's a lot of what's going on in a lot of minds of the young black woman right now. Number six, it also increases the risk that she will either be abused or abuse other men. Because, like I said, your father is the most important figure, male figure, as a lot of you know. And so if he's, abusing and doing things around the house, and she perceives this as love because the two are being intertwined. So outside of the act, he's doing little nice things, maybe. Okay, so she's, so she gets abuse mixed up with love. Okay, or she ends up abusing other men because of the inner hatred. So the cycle just continues. Okay, it also increases the risk that she will abuse her future sons. Okay, especially, like I said, the father is getting abused by its mother. The boy grows up, to be a father, and now he's abusing his daughters, and now the daughter grows up into a woman, and she, is having poor relationships with men, having problems with male authority. Now she's a single mother. Now the little boy's there, and now he's getting abused. So the cycle just continues on and on in our community as black people. So I challenge the black man, okay, with all due respect. Okay, instead of degrading every black woman who dates a white man by saying he only wants you for sex, because you'll hear that a lot. Anytime a black woman tries to find love outside of the black race, even though there are a plethora amount of black men doing so, they'll always say he only wants you for sex, okay? Now, what I want to say about that is, please make sure that you as a black man aren't using projection by being the man who only looks at black women only for sex, okay? So the point is not about black women interracially dating. The point is make sure when you're saying that other men are using black women for just sex, make sure that you're not one of those men that secretly look at black women for only sex as a black man, okay? Instead of talking about the other races of men who have raped black women, dear black men, make sure you are not one of the men raping us, okay? So while you're talking about white men who have raped us and you're talking about this other man who's raped us and only wants to look at us as a fetish, make sure you as a black man are not the one raping us, and make sure you're not looking at us like a sexual fetish, okay? Lastly, our goal should be to protect the black woman so that she can love the children to produce healthier sons that turn into men that love and protect women. Okay? Let us break the multifaceted generational cycle. And that pretty much wraps up my segment. It's been a pleasure talking with you all. I do love you all. If you like what you heard and you're listening on YouTube, please hit the like button or subscribe. You can also listen to my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can feel free to contact me at thetruthwithtrinity.com. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, then you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.